This is Bob. Bob has what is called TPP passivity syndrome. He has issues using his legs. Good on you, Bob. Well done. Keep rocking that Car 98. You're the real MVP.
Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Let me just adjust the microphone here. G'day there, my name's Bushka. Great to have you with me here today as we talk about the PP-19, the Bizon. The Bizon is a new gun to PUBG Mobile, not a new gun to PUBG itself in terms of PC and such, but it's a gun that was introduced and copped a lot of flack. Now, the reason it copped a lot of flack was it wasn't like amazing and OP. And I should mention straight away, this is a PUBG Mobile sponsored video. And I've been wanting to make this one for a while, but I wanted to do something that was pertinent to the patch and really stood out. So I've also got this running in HD graphics and everything, so you can get a good look at how the weapon looks and how hot it is while I talk, like just doing the slow-mos, just big Baywatch entry scene with the pecs jiggling and everything. Have a look at it. This is actually a great looking weapon, and it's got that really cool magazine that detaches from just underneath the barrel there. It's a circular drum looking thing. But it's not like the other 9mm SMGs that we have. Now, it does have a couple of things in common. Obviously, SMGs, if you don't know, you should go check out my full SMG review. The SMGs allow you to have a better rate of movement. There's less of a movement penalty for running an SMG as opposed to, say, you go slower when you're running a sniper rifle and such. But it's not the same as, say, an Uzi. An Uzi is a 9mm SMG with an incredible rate of fire, next to no recoil, and a very, very low damage number on each round. It makes up for that with volume. And then you have the other 9mm SMG, like the Uzi, is the UMP. And that's got incredible recoil control. The thing is absolutely amazing. The Bizon's none of those things. In fact, the PP-19 is not a particularly easy gun to deal with. It's a gun that has some real recoil issues, which is odd for a SMG, but for all that, it's not a bad weapon, and it does have a place in the game. And I think a lot of the negativity about this gun has come because it's not particularly well understood. Now, the reason that it gets such a bad rap is this thing right here. If you have a look at me right now on screen, you're going to see me going brrr, doing the recoil test. And I was going to put all these things together, but there's a couple of issues here. One, when you're doing a recoil test, generally what you'll do is you'll fire the gun off, take a screenshot of the recoil pattern, and then you'll compare them. Two issues with this. One, I could not get a recoil pattern with the PP-19 without using a compensator that would stay on the wall. Have a look at it. It goes straight up into the roofline. It's like firing an AKM. And that's kind of nutty because that is not the way an SMG works at all. In fact, an SMG is exactly the opposite. In general, the SMGs have the low-end recoil pattern compared to the ARs and the like. So what to do with this? Well, number one is you go, I'm going to go get a compensator, because a compensator is literally the only attachment that this gun will take. You can put, that'll actually affect the gun handling. You can put all the scopes and all the sights on it that you want, but you can only really put a compensator, a suppressor, or a flash hider. And once you equip the compensator, you can really see a difference in the performance of the weapon. And it's a... Whoa. But it also is bloody loud, as you can hear there. It's like a pneumatic drill, but look at the way it just cuts off that top end. And that's really, really important. If you're using this gun without a compensator for any length of time, what you're going to find is it is just not reliable enough as an SMG, because there's not a lot it brings to the table as the game progresses. Now, the recoil isn't such that you can't keep it down. You can see if I swap between this and an AKM without a compensator, that the AKM actually kicks up higher, and that's good news. The bad news is that it has a very slow rate of fire. How do I know this? Well, I tested it. This is it firing off a full clip. 5.13 seconds every single time. And that means that it has the same rate of fire basically as a UMP or a 5.56 AR. All the 5.56 ARs have exactly the same rate of fire. That is 0.0 In terms of rounds, time it takes to fire one round, 0.095. Now, that ain't good news, because the big kicker for a M416 is that its base damage on a round is 40 to a chest. This is only 35. Indeed, the UMP has 37 chest damage and the same rate of fire as an M416. And it's one of the reasons why I think the UMP is massively underrated. But people expect new weapons to have real out-of-the-box bling and kapow, and it's just not the case. This is not the G36C with like the most incredible recoil profile in the game. It is a very, very different weapon, and its niche is early game. The real bonus to this is that it can fit 53 in the clip, and you can get it and run it early game exactly like it is a fully equipped SMG with an extended magazine, because it already has 53 in the clip. And that 53 is very important, because although it is no faster at clearing a target really than the UMP, it is absolutely sensational at clearing a target, thirsting it up, clearing another target, because it has 53 in the clip. So it's not a bad option as a switch weapon, a weapon that you can use when you're being pushed. It's a lot like you run this thing, you've got 53 in the clip with the same basic knocking power as a UMP, and that can be really, really effective. Let's talk a little bit more about those numbers. It's going to take you 5 rounds to clear a target. Assuming that, you start at 0, then basically your time to kill on this is going to be right in line with a UMP's time to kill, which is 0.38 seconds. You don't get any benefit from the extra rounds, and the extra damage doesn't help you at all. So that's the same time to kill basically as an M416. It's the same kind of kill as all that stuff, but it's got a much slower, much lower damage rate than that. And its gun handling is nowhere near as effective. So early game, when people have low end armor, when no one has extended magazines, when you just land and kick off, I'd take a Bizon over, say, a Tommy gun. But as the game progresses, it becomes less and less effective. Now, the problem we have here is that everyone expects amazing and out of the box it to be incredible. But I think that's the wrong idea. What you want to do is you want to be looking for guns and how they work and why they work. And if you do that, then you can't really be disappointed with this, because this is just extra content that they've put in the game to make it work. And you can see even using it here, it takes a lot of rounds to clear a target. This is a switch weapon. This is an early game switch weapon, late game. Something else to be very, very aware of with this weapon, and I mean this, you can be the best player in the world. Don't use this gun with a scope. It is terrible with a scope, even with a compensator on it. It is absolutely dog awful. It is not the gun you want to be running at any kind of range. Switch weapons in general are weapons you run when the enemy is close. Now, this is the kind of gun, if you're solo versus squad and you've got, say, an M416 or a G36C in one slot, you could have this in the other slot. But to be honest, I'd probably just look for another M416 or G36C. But you can't always get that. And if that's the case, then the Bizon, PP-19 Bizon, is just fine to get a hold of and use in that capacity. If you put a suppressor or a flash hider on it, you're going to get absolutely abysmal gun handling and performance. And I would highly recommend you never do that. What's the final verdict? It's an effective weapon at exactly what is written on the box. And before we go any further, I want to highlight that this is, a lot of people don't even read the patch notes, but the PP-19 is a 9mm submachine gun with a detachable oversized magazine of 53 rounds, but it does not support magazine upgrades, so the capacity cannot be increased through attachments. The weapon can be equipped with scopes and muzzle attachments, and can be equipped with all the scopes from the red dot sight, blah, 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 blah. It has single shot damage value of 35 and a rate of fire similar to the UMP, like it's nearly exactly the same. Its default magazine size gives the advantage of a fully kitted weapon early game. These advantages come at the cost of a slightly weaker performance later in the match. This is out there in the patch notes. They're telling you exactly what this is all about. But so many people just don't even read the patch notes, let alone pay attention to them. So it comes as no surprise then, if you've read them, that this is the verdict on the gun. For once, there's no equivocation. They absolutely nailed it in the patch notes. It's not like the Armory where things just are not true. It is legitimately an early game weapon that's decent on a Switch late game if you can't find anything else to replace it. Don't run it without a compensator, and it really starts to shine in situations like you're going to see here, where I've got multiple targets and I just need that extended magazine, because it does have a magazine that is larger than an M416 and an AKM and all that kind of thing. That's 13 rounds larger, which is a significant amount, and it means that you can fire a whole lot of lead at the problem when things get nasty. Now, I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I hope you're enjoying the channel. I'm really loving getting the channel back and making these videos. If you would do me a massive favor, subscribe and like and share the videos. If you want to know what the best grips in PUBG Mobile are, I've got a massive 2019 grip video out there. Everyone keeps using the old grip video. That's up to 330,000 views now. But the new grip video is like 52,000 views. And I don't understand why everyone keeps referring to the old one. It's like, man, YouTube, stop throwing that thing up in the recommendations. I want people to get the real info. I'm Bushka. Look after yourselves. As always, thanks PUBG Mobile for sponsoring these videos and making my channel far more viable financially. And thank you guys for looking after me and supporting me in my tilt at my favorite career. Until next time, stay safe on the battlefield.